everyone. I'm author Rebecca Hefner, and I am chatting today with bestselling author Jeanne St. James. Hello and welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
We're so happy to have you here on the Indie Audiobook Deals channel. And yeah, I'm just going to chat with you to find out a little bit more about you and about your audiobooks and where we can find them.
Okay.
Great. All right. So first of all, tell me a little bit about how long have you been an author, what genres you write, and how many books you've written.
Okay. I've been writing for about 42, 43 years, since I was sorry, my dogs. Since I was like a teen. I am 55. I turned 55 last month. So, but my first book was actually published with a publisher back in 2009. So I've been published since 2009, and since then I've published or have on pre-order about 65 books. But I write steamy contemporary romance, and under this pen name, Jeanne St. James, and then under my JJ Masters pen name, I have a series that are paranormal, but they're also contemporary, and they're gay romance, so royalty. And it was fun because I love the world building. It was fun. It was something different.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's the fun part about writing paranormal and fantasy stuff, right? You kind of get to make everything up, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, I do some world building in my contemporary because I write a lot of MC and stuff, so I do a lot of world building there, but nothing like paranormal. That was just a blast. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. So,
that is awesome. Yeah, right. Yeah, it sounds fun. All right, so under Jeanne St. James, it's contemporary steamy, and then
yes.
What's your other pen name so everyone knows?
JJ Masters. It's also contemporary. It's very steamy, but it's also shifters. So they're selfie shifters, and they're all 5 brothers. They were princes. So yeah.
Awesome.
So it's still contemporary. So yeah. I love contemporary. So
that's right up my alley. I will be reading that. Thank you.
Okay.
I love it. Okay, so tell me a little bit about why do you write these genres? Why do you write steamy romance, MF? Like, tell me a little bit about what calls to you about those genres.
Well, I mean, I've always written contemporary. I don't think I'd write anything else. I mean, I thought about years and years and years ago, I thought about writing historical because growing up, being a teen, I read a lot of historical romances, a lot of category, because that was back like in the 80s and 90s and stuff. So, but it's just, I just feel more comfortable doing contemporary. It's just my jam. And you know, I like to write characters that I can identify with in some way. So other than that, stick with, and people know me for the contemporary more than the paranormal for sure. I mean, it was so funny because some of my readers had read my JJ Masters books before I came out and said I'm also JJ Masters. They're like, oh, I read JJ Masters. I'm like, you did? So then, I mean, I kind of kept it separate at first because it was totally different, and then I just thought, so I just told everybody. I was like, I don't care who knows.
I know I have another pen name, and in the beginning I was like, am I going to keep this separate? And then everyone just kind of kept like finding out, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to be both now because like it's easier that way, right?
And it's hard to keep them separate. It really is. I mean, luckily I don't. I mean, I've wrote those 5 books. I don't really have time to go back and write more. Would I like to? Yes, but I have so many books to write in my continuing series and that kind of stuff. I can't. I can only do so much. So
yeah, there are only so many hours in the day.
Yeah, not enough for sure.
Well, you have a lot of books. That's amazing. So
yeah.
Okay. So since we're an audiobook channel here, we love all things audiobooks. Tell us a little bit about your narrators. Are your books solo narrated? Or are they dual narrated, or maybe a mixture of both? And tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so my books are a mixture of both. In the beginning, I was not an audiobook listener, so I really didn't know much about audiobooks. So I kind of made mistakes along the way and learned. So I started out with a lot of solo narrators. Then I learned about dual narrators. So the majority of my books are dual narrators. My Menage have 3 narrators.
Nice.
Yeah, so Ava Lucas, she auditioned for one of my books. I was about to give up in the beginning, I was about to give up on audiobooks because I was struggling to find the right voice for one of my novellas. It was a single point of view book. It's my only single point of view book. And I was looking for the right woman to narrate it, her voice. And she came out of the blue and auditioned for me after I had some really
I know.
sometimes I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't. So she came and I was like, oh, she's perfect. So we hooked up. She started doing all my female voices. She does them all. I give them all to her. And now she's my producer. So we work together, finding the right male narrators to work with her. And basically, I've worked with some of the best romance narrators out there. And so I've worked with a huge variety, but I just try to find the right voice for the right character, for the character. So, so I work with a lot. And then sometimes I'll find somebody new, and if I can find the right voice that's new and he knows what he's doing, no problem. I don't mind, hiring him and giving it a shot. So I've done that recently. And
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Everybody's gonna start somewhere.
all my books do go into audio. They all go into audio. So
that's great to hear. Everyone who's subscribed to this channel will love that because we're all audio lovers here. So, it's nice to be able to offer your book in, multiple platforms and in different ways, right? Yeah, like
absolutely.
You put so much love and development into that story. So it's nice to offer it in all the ways that people can consume it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because there's a lot of people who only do audiobooks at this point, because they're busy. They do it while they're cleaning or cooking or working or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of my readers are like, yeah, or they actually read it first, then they listen again. So I'm like, okay,
why not? Right? I mean,
read it and then listen to it, and with different forms.
Yeah. And it creates a new experience for them. So they kind of get to experience the story twice in different ways,
They say that too. They they'll read the book. It's very emotional, but then when they hear the narration and the narrators are like top notch, they're like, oh, it was a total different experience. It was crazy. I'm like, oh, well, that's good, because I don't listen to my own audiobooks. It's very rare I'll listen to them because I hear the characters in my head. And even though I've picked the best narrators to match them, it's still never what's in my head. So it's really rare that I will listen to any of my audiobooks. So I have to rely on my, my poor readers.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. That makes sense, because to us, the characters are real people, right? They just live right here.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense.
It does. There's a couple I can, like, I have one gay romance that I actually wrote for the narrators themselves. It's a whole long story, but I won't tell it. But I wrote, so Ava reached out to me like, hey, Teddy Hamilton and Aaron Shedlock never worked together and they want to do a gay romance together. And she's like, can you write a book for them? I'm like, what?
That is
trying to write another whole book. I had this whole list of books I need to write. And eventually I got around to it. But by then I had booked them for that. But by then it was so long till I could get around to writing it. They narrated else, but they did those. But when I wrote the book, I had their voices in mind when I wrote it, and that's the only time I've ever done that. And it people say like they were perfect. I'm like, yeah, because I wrote that book for them, and I actually love the book. I'm so glad I wrote it. It was just like, it was, and it was lovers and angsty and fighty, and I love hate sex and.
Yeah, that is amazing. Okay, so wait, I need to know the name of that book so everyone can listen to it. So what book is that?
That is Crossing the Line, a Dirty Angels MC, Blue Avengers MC crossover. So it's a crossover between two of my MCs, but it can be read as a standalone because it's basically just around these two characters. There are some side characters that come in, but you don't think anybody will be lost. So, but it's like there's hate sex, and one's a cop, one's a biker. So of course, they don't get along as it is. And, next thing you know, they're
Oh my God. Okay. You're like really expanding my TBR right now.
It's very steamy and very angsty, and so it was right up my alley. So.
Oh, that sounds so good. Okay, so anyone watching, make sure, those are two big name narrators. I'm sure it is awesome.
Yes.
And how cool that you wrote the story with their voices in mind. I love that.
I did too. Writing the whole time, I was like, okay, this is going to be Teddy, and this is going to be Aaron, and so it worked out perfect. I'm never doing that again, but.
Yeah. I can't wait to listen.
But actually, she was in Vegas. She called me like, I don't know what time in the middle of the night to say, hey, Teddy and Aaron want to work together. Can you write a book? And I'm like, who are you?
Right. You're like, I guess. And like,
so.
yeah.
It's just not going to be next month. It's going to be
Right.
a while to write
and all the extra time we have as indie authors. Yeah. Let's
Yeah, exactly.
more. Why not?
Exactly. We have all the spare moments to write an extra book.
Right.
So, yeah.
But it's nice that you have a narrator who looks out for you and thinks of those things. That's really, that's nice too. Because you're working.
We're really close. Yeah, we're really close.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So tell me, so out of all of your characters, and if you have 65 books, I mean, you have a ton of characters. So, but try and think of, is there one character that if someone is new to you and they're just starting on your catalog, one character that you feel like people will gravitate toward or identify with, and tell us why.
Well, I would say that since most romance readers are women, they would be, they would lean towards my strong heroines, because I do write very strong heroines. But an individual character, I would say my reader's favorite character is a biker named Diesel, and Diesel and I have a love-hate relationship because he's a total asshole, to be blunt.
Love it.
But they love him, and I'm like, why? So they are all drawn to this dude. I don't get it. Whatever.
The lovable anti-hero. I mean, it's that, yeah.
Yeah, so he's probably my most popular character.
Okay, and is he
mentioned the most?
Oh, and what book? It seems like he's probably in a bunch of books, but which book is
he? Yes, he is. He's in my Dirty Angels MC series, but he gets his own book. It's book number 4 in the series, but it should be read. The whole series should be read in order. But yeah, he's all throughout that. He's actually in some of my other series. I mean, he's such a popular character. Like I had a military romance spinoff, and he's in charge of those guys. And so he's in through that, and he's in. So yeah, he pops up.
So he's a popular one. Okay, that's good to know. It's always the reformed anti-hero. That's what everybody wants. And you know what? That's great. Why not, right?
Yep. Oops.
Yes. Okay, so tell me, so out of your whole catalog, if someone is new to you, which audiobook would you suggest that they start with?
I write a variety of subgenres and tropes. Like I do menage, I do, I have some sports, I have gay romance, I have straight romance, I have all kinds. But if they were going to start somewhere, I would say probably the best place to start, because it's actually, this book starts like dozens of books. Like you can keep going, and yeah. So I would say Brothers in Blue Max.
Okay.
And that was narrated by Ava Lucas and Jason Clark.
Oh, great. So, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good place.
I would say that's a good starting point. I wouldn't say it's my best book. It definitely isn't, because it's one of my older books. And of course we grow as we write, but yeah, definitely it is like the starting point for like dozens of books after that.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so everyone watching, you know that is where you need to start if you're looking to start at something that opens up the whole world into Jeanne's book, which is great.
Yep.
And so tell us, we're a wide audiobook channel, so we love, books that are available everywhere. So I know you're on Chirp. Tell us, where are you? Are you on Libby and Hoopla? Tell us where you are.
Oh, absolutely. I all of my books at this point, except for my 2 newest ones that are exclusive to Audible. But after the series is usually done, I take it wide. So they're on Spotify, they're on Chirp, they're on Libby, Overdrive. Like I submit them everywhere. So Kobo, anywhere that is a legit retailer, I submit to. So Apple, so I always try to push everyone away from Audible and go elsewhere, since but there's so many other retailers out there. And then I also have my own storefront on Soundwise. They have their own listening app. So I'm actually been every night I've been uploading some more books there because I just took my Blood Fury MC audiobooks wide, and that's a 12-book series. So that's been taking me a while to upload it, but they are uploaded to the other retailers. I'm just still working on Soundwise. It takes a little bit longer. So
yeah, it does
but
take a while. I don't
anywhere
think
that's
people,
legit.
yeah, I don't think people realize how long it takes. I mean, when you want to get them on wide retailers because you want them to be accessible to everyone, but it takes a while to upload all this stuff.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I start out with Audible, and I just start with Audible. I wait, for a little bit, and then I take it, spend the time and upload them everywhere else. But yeah, I mean, it's worth it. I love having them available, in different channels and stuff, but it is time consuming.
Definitely. Okay, good. So if what's the best place to find you? Do you have a website that you direct people to? Is it jeannestjames.com or?
It is. It's jeannestjames.com. It's that easy. Yep. So
Awesome.
I have all my books listed on my site.
Great.
Like I said, you can find me on all my books on Chirps. You can probably find them, Spotify, wherever they like to listen, they could probably find me. Like I said, the only two that aren't wide right now are the series I'm writing right now. I'm just uploading the Audible until I get them all. They're all done.
Yeah.
So
makes sense. And then you can take them all wide at the same time, so everyone can consume them.
Absolutely. So you don't have like one here, one there, you get the whole, you can binge the whole series.
I love it. Hey, who doesn't? Romance readers love to binge. So
I know.
That's great.
We're all in a binge, we're all in a binge society at this point. I'm not that way too. I need the binge, right? We're just so used to going, okay, well, where's next episode? Where's the next episode? So
yes, exactly.
So that's the best way to go. Yep.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jeanne, for coming on and telling us about your books. I am so excited. I just added about 14 books to my TBR. I know everyone listening is going to be so excited to listen to your books and read your books. And I thank you so much for coming on to the Indie Audiobook Deals channel.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I hope everyone has a great day and happy listening.